My third eye's open, I can see past the commotion. I can't get lost in the moment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My third eye open, I can see past the commotion. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm guaranteed to check like TSA. One in a million like Elise say. My words come with 50 million in the base. Set my attention, let it marinate. You can get a vibe dope and you get rid of weight. We come together, we need each other in a special way. Sun gazing, Pinot Glendy calcification. Sunbathing this neural melanin activated. Daily affirmations of truth, no affidavit. Shadow work can be a big part of manifestation. I don't want it if it's tainted. And I'm not here to be famous. It's a lot that I came with. I did a lot of explaining. And I talk it how I live it. You don't evolve, then you fall for anything you giving. I'm giving everything that I got and what I'm missing. I'm working on myself, can be my worst critic. Yeah, can be my third eye's open, I can see past the commotion. I can't get lost in the moment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. High dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Peace, 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 family. Big energy. You already know the vibes. Shadow work Sundays. Shadow codes to light work. And I am King Manifest. Are you muted, God?
It's the guy, Khalil. Like I said, we back for another episode, man. We here. I miss being here, you know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful to be here, with King, another special guest, and a tribe, man. So definitely gonna get into this podcast tonight.
Ashe. You know, y'all already know much gratitude to the tribe. And so y'all know how we feel about the goddess and the divine feminine on this platform. So today's special guest is a sacred dance facilitator. She is a medicine woman, a oracle priest, founder of Shadow Shop Virtual Healing Workshop. She also is the founder of the Divine Healing Experience. I am honored to present Divine Soul, the Shadow Healer.
Peace, family. Thank you so much for having me here. It just feels only right that you would have the Shadow Healer on the Shadow Work Sunday. I'm so thankful for the invitation into the room, at the table. Give thanks.
Is definitely only right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so she is the Shadow Healer, family, you know, so obviously y'all are going to find many reasons to tap in with her after this episode, but I want to set the tone. Obviously we know how important shadow work is, and so to have we are standing in the gap over here for in the masculine energy, but to have the divine feminine energy over there as well to bring that balance in this shadow realm is amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all, now I want to be honest with my setup over here. Y'all just got y'all light and looking on good, King. That my angles and my light is right. So I don't know. I trust all is divine, though. Let me see. Let me get a little more.
It's fire.
All right, that's all I needed to know. I just need some, I got a shadow that needs validation sometimes. You got to tell me that.
Nah,
what's up? What's up? That's real.
I say. Very, very professional. You know what I'm saying? And so, so what we're going to do at this time, we like to tap in and balance the energy. You know what I'm saying? First, we're going to ground ourselves. That's very important to be able to receive this message. Sometimes we be too busy and we're trying to get downloads and we're not able to really understand and decode them because we don't ground ourselves. So I'm going to play the root chakra rebel and just become vulnerable to self. I say. And now we're going to get into the Rainbow Collective exercise. So as I say every Sunday, make sure that you are reading the affirmations, make sure that you are looking at the chakras, looking at the colors, and really accepting the upgrading, the balance, and the wholeness that it can actually bring you. I say. Let's get it, Kai. You muted again, my brother.
All right, we're gonna tap into some brain jams and some reflexology points. When we was just listening to that Rainbow Collective exercise, I felt like a real strong energy in my solar plexus area. So first we're gonna start right underneath right here in your hand. I don't know what you call that, you know what I'm saying? But the top of your palm, that deals with the liver. So you want to start stimulating some of that energy, stimulating the enzymic reactions that the liver helps to create in your body. And then you want to go down right underneath that to the bottom of the palm. And that deals with your small intestines, your colon. That also deals with sacral chakra energy as well as solar plexus energy. And then we want to go right in the crease, about a half an inch under the crease of the thumb. That deals with the pancreas. That also deals with sacral chakra energy. So the episode today, you know what I'm saying, dealing with disassociation, dealing with running from your purpose. That deals with a lot of creative energy in an imbalanced way, and a lot of willpower that is tied to that creative energy in an imbalanced way. So we definitely alchemizing that energy. And just switch hands, hit the same spot on both hands, making sure you're getting the left and right hemispheres of the brain, both sides of the body. Middle of the palm, that deals with the kidneys and adrenal glands, the seat of the ancestors as well. And that's very, very important, especially dealing within this episode. And then after that, right under the ring finger, you know, that's the heart space. Stimulate that energy, because that's where we headed next on both hands. And then last but not least, the thymus taps. Aligning the frequency, bringing it into resonance. I say.
And so this is a heart space platform. And so now to finalize our exercise, I'm going to play the heart chakra singing bowl. At this time, if you meditate, if you practice breath work, even if you don't, and you want to try it for the first time, this would be a great opportunity. And the heart space is actually the portal to manifestation. In everything that we do in life, we're manifesting something. So, you know, you want to have that balance. So let's tap in. Like I said, become vulnerable to self once again.
No way. I ain't the only one who heard that cricket, right?
The
And
whole
just
time.
it stopped soon as she came out the meditation. That's deep.
I say, you know, I feel like this subject, this energy that we are shifting, that we are about to break through, is very intense. You know what I'm saying? But right now, I feel that, you know, as intense as this conversation is, y'all ready. You know what I'm saying? We ready. You know, this is something we're ready to face ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We're ready to look at that man, that woman in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? So this will be the final transition to set the tone for this episode. I'm gonna play a record called Man in the Mirror, King Manifest Kai Khalil, vibrating at 528 hertz. And this will set the tone for shadow work and for the self-reflection that we're about to do.
I see.
I couldn't see the world without
Get on the floor, change. Just a mirror message for reflections that can see the same. See, lately I've been telling me I need to up my game. The windows of my soul, I look when I wanna see elevation. Hey, looking forward to the future. Humbly telling you that I need you to be my tutor. Let's match it out, our shadow work and get it straight like a ruler. The world becomes what you reflect, and then in time it might ruin. Divorce our inner child, what you do trickles back down. Watch what you be taking in, it can make your innocence drown. When I reciprocate the same energy you project, and balance frequencies, the only thing we manifest. I manifest that you can keep your heart up in your chest. Rose course and green events arena around your neck. When you bring people around, why do you feel the need to clean a mess? When the wild lens is dirty, you let people overstep. If you would just talk to me, we can stop it, just reconnect. Catch you when you fall down, we the victim in the net. Say straight, rigging out your shell is here so you can get some rest. But just know to fly, eagle chick get put up out they nest. Can you see me? I never knew how much I wanna be me. See the doorway to my life, come and free me. It's okay when you don't feel okay, it's a real thing. It's okay when we don't get our way, this ain't BK. Hey, through the fractals of our perspective, I see you reflection. But do you see me back? I'm always here to get the message. Always here when you mess up and then you see the lesson. Second guessing if you've been peak gaming worth it's mental pressure. Don't overlook me like the key you thought you lost on your dresser. Push some positivity so we can balance my eye feather. Mirror gaze, sometimes I like to see both our progression. Mirror man, please understand that what you do, it makes me better. A mirror message for reflections that can see the same. See, lately I've been telling me I need to up my game. The windows on my soul, I look when I wanna see elevation. Get on the floor, change. Just a mirror message for reflections that can see the same. See, lately I've been telling me I need to up my game. The windows on my soul, I look when I wanna see elevation.
Elevate. I got tired of playing it safe. I got tired of asking, will it ever change? Life came with scars, but I will not complain. I shine, even when they be throwing shade in the town. I feel your energy, I am not afraid. Stop talking, since they ain't curve what you had to say. Can't stay where you ain't welcome, so you run away. On the streets at 13, living day to day. Still can't talk about it with my father today. See the strength in the situation, I will not break. I show compassion while dealing with all my mistakes. Miss my mama if I ain't miss you. To take care of her is part of my life vision. I survived in the streets through my intuition, and I spent a lot of years in the youth prisons. I am made different, I was raised different. Imagine being raised by a hurt Christian. Wanna show me love, but I keep on sinning. Getting physically abused behind rap lyrics. This was my life. Imagine that I put that on my wife. Just to feel right. Just to feel alright. Still alright. Yeah. From my soul, like I'm looking in your eyes. This was my truth, come to find out was lies. Truth truth is, I've been found me and God. I went inside and saw the Ashe alive.
A willow deeply sky, somebody's broken heart, and a washed out dream. Take follow the pattern of the wind you see. The guy, no place to be. That's why I'm starting with me. I'm starting with the mirror, asking him to change his ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make that change. Yeah.
Ashe. So yeah, we are bro vibing hard.
Yeah, I ain't heard that in a long while, like a very long. I forgot we had that song, literally.
Man, it's one of them. It's a very self-reflective song that really set the tone for even our life, our own shadow work. You know what I'm saying? So definitely tap in with that. You know what I'm saying? In your daily life, because it's self-reflection of you.
I see.
So obviously, this episode is called "Do You Run When Purpose Hit Home?" You know, we are talking about disassociation, and so what is disassociation? Right? Disassociation is a disconnection, a separation of something, or the state of disconnection. I like that, the state of. So it don't have to be physical. You see what I'm saying? But I was like, okay, so what is the key word in disassociation? Disassociate. So what is the etymology of that? It is companion. I said, okay, so what is companion? Companion is, a person or an animal who one has spent a lot of time with. Some you have a real close relationship. You've been around this person a lot, or this being a whole lot. And so most of the things that we focus on when it comes to disassociation are things that are embodied in our subconscious. So these are things that we have been doing or dealing with our whole life. You see what I'm saying? So these are our companions. And so your number one companion is self. And everything around us that we disconnecting from, the family, the friends, whatever it is, we actually disconnect from them because they reflect a part of us that we're running from. And so that's how we're going to set the tone. And so with that being said, I want to tap in with the goddess because she really made some very powerful points when we talked on the phone that were very personal. Meaning she's actually living this, she's not just talking it. So I want to ask you and just see what is your perspective on disassociation, and in what way in your life, is that playing out, or are you actually choosing to, to go and, become whole again in those areas?
You're on mute.
Okay. Yeah, so you just trying to jump on in that fast. Like you just want to get on deep off in it right now like that. Okay. Wow. So I'm grateful because as a shadow healer, I teach from experience, I appreciate you going and getting the etymology of the word that we're talking about and using a dictionary to break down the term, because we attach emotions to words. We don't really know the definition of words. And then we think that we know the meaning based on how that word made me feel, So by you going in and giving that definition, I appreciate that. Because I feel called out. I feel called out when you talk about disassociation of self. That's my work right now, This episode was so perfect. Thank you again for the invitation, because I have decided to take my healing journey home. And when I say that, I've been living in Mexico for going on 3 years now, Playa del Carmen specifically. And it's not my first home away from home. I've been leaving home since I could find my legs and run. Okay. And I want to say maybe I turned 17, I left and I went to North Carolina for school, and I never stopped leaving. I came back to Texas, and then I packed up and I moved to Atlanta. And I came back to Texas and I left and I went to LA. Then I came back and I left and I went to the Dominican Republic. And now I'm in Mexico. And you let me tell it, I've just been pursuing more of me. I want to expand. I don't want to be like my family. that doesn't even have passports, most of them. Okay. I don't want to be so comfortable that I never leave my zip code because, you know, it's where I went to elementary school, my middle school, my high school. I know these people, you know, that's my family. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be like you guys. I'm going to get this passport. I'm going to move around the country. I'm going to move around the world rather. And what I realized, and it took me a long time to realize it, is that every time I packed my bag, I was disassociating with myself more and more. It was like the further you tend to get out of your area code, the more you tend to lose who you really are. Now, let me tell it, let a lot of us tell it, because we're really good with our language. We can mask what we think we're doing with the colorful language, right? So I'm actually finding myself, right? I'm finding myself in the world. Yeah, that's cool. You're finding parts of yourself, but you're also leaving the greater part of yourself behind as you're identifying with this new iteration of who you desire to be, thus creating a shadow of self because it's now in the past and you don't even want to be acknowledged as who you were as that version of yourself. So for me, it's so literal to the point where I've changed my name. You know, like my mother named me Taylor Monique. God gave me Divine Soul. That's my I am. That is not my birth name. You know, people ask me, is Divine Soul your real name? Yeah, that's my real name. My mama named me Taylor, but that's my real name. I let them know really quickly. And it often comes like, I'm often offended. Like I just realized this within the last few years that when someone calls me the name that my mother gave me, it offends me. You might as well call me out my name. It's how that feels, you know? And
Honestly,
it took
I'm
me
the
a
same
minute.
way.
Come on. I'm like, wait, what you call me? You Taylor.
Mhm.
Who you? You know, and it took me a minute to realize a couple things about that. That's not very healthy. You know, it's not very healthy because that is who you are, who you have been until you call yourself finding more of you. And so now you don't want to be who you were before. You know, can't you be that plus some? Can't you be that and more? You know, but the idea that I have to now disown who I was because of who I'm becoming, I've identified some concern within that box.
Man,
Now I can keep running with this, but I don't know if I should breathe and let you tap
no,
in or where
this is, you are the shadow healer. This is Shadow Work Sundays. We are, sometimes that's just what it is. You know, when that channel opens, feel free. This is a heart space platform. I open a free platform. This is Tribe. We are actually sitting in the living room having a conversation, just kicking it as if we're not live, but it's a divine conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Good thing. Good thing.
What's funny about all of this is for real, cause like you playing yourself. Like I just keep laughing in my head because it's like reflecting your viewpoint and your perspective back to my reality, and like how when we have parents and they always tell us when we're younger, you're supposed to grow up to be better than me. And then once you are actually there and you're trying to be better than them, then they try to feed you their narrative so you can be more like them. But just me personally, in understanding that I'm not trying to become or embody aspects of my parents, it makes me realize I've been doing it this whole time. So like what they're really telling me is you are me. Become aware of that and then alchemize that into an advantage. Instead of me utilizing it as a curse, alchemize my hurt into your advantage. So in that same sense, when we bring our purpose back home, it helps us to understand our ancestral generational curses and help us to understand that these energies that are harboring over our family are energies that we have too. And if we remember how to alchemize them, then that will lead for a domino effect and it'll spread through the whole family.
So keep this out, family. Shadow code, light codes, affect genetic codes. Simple.
I was going to speak on that too. You know, a lot of times, and real quick, I see that I have family in the room too, and I want to just acknowledge your community that's here tapping in, and my people that tapped in too. Give thanks. I give thanks for y'all showing up and being present. That feels like home. I'm grateful for that. You know, you'll get people that, just to go in on how deep what you both are saying really is, right? You got people that go to these hospitals, okay? And the hospital will tell them, oh, your mama had this, your grandpa had this is hereditary. You want to be mindful of this. This is a part of your genetics. Be mindful of this, right? And so now we take on this life sentence of, well, my mama had diabetes, so I'm gonna have it. Or my mama had breast cancer, so I'm gonna have it. Not realizing that it's not the disease that's hereditary. Okay, it's you. Excuse me, let me say that again because I heard myself. It is exactly that. It is the disease itself that is hereditary. You literally are taking on that disease that your people had that even allowed them to manifest an ailment such as cancer or whatever you're dealing with. You know, it's a lot more than just your health and your things going on with your body that can be in your, what they call it when they tell you it's in your, what do they tell you? How they say it? It's in your it's genetic. What's the other word they use when they want to make you believe that you're gonna get what your family has? Hereditary. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, your financial concerns are hereditary, and the way you deal with problems and emotions are hereditary, and the way you love and be loved in relationships are hereditary because it's based on a programming. It's based on what you've allowed yourself to believe, because then that becomes a part of your DNA. So you can change these things with the choice and the awareness. You know, it comes with choice and awareness. And this is one of the main reasons why I'm going home to continue my work and not going to continue to run away from home in the name of my healing. But I'm going to go back home and I'm going to address it where it counts the most, you know.
So I want to say this, right? So let's put it in perspective, because a lot of us, you know, that are on this path, we end up finding our purpose. A lot of us find our purpose though in a dark place. This is what a lot of people don't really, what people don't understand. You just end up seeing this light come out shining. But with that being said, you can go and, you know, say you're talking to people and you got consultations and you healing, you putting in the work. You're being such an amazing soul, or you post affirmations, or, you know, whatever it is that you do, you're being a light to these people, and that you call your soul tribe, that we are connecting with, that we understand on a cosmic level, because we understand that time is not real. So we understand all these things, but we take our family out of that equation as being these divine beings as well. And so it's a lot different healing or connecting or putting in work with someone that has never hurt you, versus when you got to go to that person that hurt you, that broke you, that you may be, you know, as an adult starting to remember certain memories of things that you didn't even know happened to you, that this person did to you, and now they're ready to evolve, not to your level, but they're ready to start taking steps, and they understand you the light. What do you do? What do I do? What do we do in those situations? You see what I'm saying? And that right there is a clear answer of, because some people might be in denial. See, disassociation can be connected with a lot of other things, because you got to keep in mind the only way we disassociate is by crutches. So we become codependent on these things that make us disassociate, that helps us to disassociate. You see what I'm saying? So I just want to say that to really just, for all of us to ask ourselves that question, and to see how we reacting in those type of situations.
I want to add to what you just said, because, or rather challenge the word choice for the opportunity to expand the thought, right? So you said a lot of times these people in our families have like hurt us or done something to us, you know, and that creates like that division. It drives that wedge. I would like to replace that word hurt us with activate or even initiate, right? Because a lot of times it's not until you can even feel so deeply that something within you is awakened, you know. And when it comes to this shadow work, let me tell you, like, I'm understanding more deeply as I'm into my purpose as being a shadow healer. And I understand that, you know, I am to be a reflection to those, to help them bring light into their darkness, but first to learn to embrace their darkness, because that was there before there was ever light. You are the darkness, like, be okay with that. And then we'll learn to shine a light, you know. I recognize as a shadow healer, and I bet the two of you can identify with this as shadow healers, that when you're the person to bring someone or to reflect to them parts of themselves for the very first time, you know, it's like having an alarm clock, right? And we all sleep, we sleeping peacefully too. I mean, I'm comfortable in my bed. It's a good dream. All right. And then it's time to wake up. Ideally, we all want to kind of just wake up at our own will. You want to just wake up when it feels right. You want to open your eyes, get a good stretch, yawn, put your feet on the floor when you're ready. Okay, but imagine waking up to somebody there shaking you, or waking up to somebody yelling your name, or to an alarm clock. You're startled, right? You're being awakened by this thing that is like, oh shit, I wasn't ready. Excuse me, can I curse on your show?
Yeah, you good.
Okay. So you're startled, you know, and so now I'm up. Okay, I didn't wake up on my own, but I'm up, and I might very well be having the best day of my life. But every time I see your face, I might have a little attitude, because you're the one that woke me up before I was ready. You understand? And I understand that as a shadow healer, being the one to reflect to people parts of themselves that they haven't been able to accept or are not ready to receive. Now you got a problem with me specifically, right? Because you're confused. You're looking at me like, oh, you the muff that woke me up. Now I wasn't ready to see that part of myself. Instead of having the awareness to be able to be grateful for the initiation, the activation. So a lot of times we're walking around here mad at family members, mad at mama, dad, sister, brother, uncle, whoever, because they have brought us to these new awarenesses about ourselves before we were ready to receive that version or that vision of ourselves. But it is that now. So what do you do with that? When you're going to wake up and realize that this person did you a favor way more than they ever hurt you or violated you, exactly, regardless if you're ready or not, and then turn around and just give thanks. When you going to do that? And I don't expect anybody to be ready for that, because I'm not ready for that. And I've been doing this work a long time, you know?
What I feel as though every single person is very well capable of is staying aware of both dualistic perspectives, whether they align with one or not. You have the capability to, whether you're in a low vibrational situation and you're mad at these people, you have the capability to see their faults as something that's good for you. But you just continue to align with the past and align with these past hurts and things like that, instead of staying focused and knowing, as this awakening soul, knowing going through this journey, things happen to you in order to help you grow. We're going through pressure every single day. I don't care if you trying to put a sock on. That shit get hard sometimes, for real. So we need these things, again, in order for us to catapult ahead. So like everyone, I feel as though every single one of us is capable of it. But again, we just have to understand and become first aware of the thing that's making a switch to the opposing frequency. Like that mental, that psychic mental switch that is making a shift to the opposing frequency. And then in turn, you are releasing your power and giving your power away to the ego to allow it to project anything within your reality that doesn't align with who you know you can be.
Honestly, I would say it's fear. You know, is a key of those of those realities. You know what I'm saying? We have to conquer fear. You know what I'm saying? For me, I'm not scared of my shadow. I'm not scared of shadow work. You know what I'm saying? I actually embody it, because I look at the shadow is where I get my upgrade. You know what I'm saying? Me and Cop talk about this all the time. You know how the light work is the actual, like I said, like, you know, the superhero part of it. You know, you flying and you shooting, you know, power out your hands and all, whatever you can dream of, whatever metaphysical you want to come up with from a visual aspect to make it tangible. But the shadow work is actually what makes that possible. What brings that power. Whenever you hit something and it radiates, like the power, your power is in the shadow. You see what I'm saying? And so truthfully, recently, this disassociation, this stuff has been hitting home in so many ways, you know, because what happens is that when you are out here, when you set your intention, the universe will project that right back on you. So I set my intention on shadow work. I embody shadow work. As shadow healers, we embody shadow work. So we got to expect it to pop up constantly. So these are our upgrades. And so with that being said, I have family coming to me right now, and it's a situation where I'm just, like she talked about earlier, I'm so grateful to even be able to have this, any type of conversation with them on the level of healing or them having an open heart, that it just sets a tone to where when you move through compassion and gratitude, you become a channel for source in the most holistic, you know,
you want to know what it is, bro? Like, honest, like, remember I told you I went to the wedding, I was talking to my aunt and everything, and it's like the energy, the main premise of the energy that she was giving and the energy I was embodying is like she became the student and I became the master, but it was still synonymous on both ends, to where it's like they just become purely like a child, like they're just rambling, but it's not rambles, it's actually their soul spilling out, but it's just so chaotic and it's so all over the place. And it takes for us to be that, oh, this is an awakening, I went through the same thing, and not to dissociate like, oh, they're trying to dump their problems on me, they don't really care, they just trying to make it seem like they trying to do healing. No, that's exactly what you look like when you started to begin your healing. Whether you was talking to yourself or talking to somebody else, you sounded crazy. So you have to give them that same benefit of the doubt, because.
And guess what? Hold on real quick. What is crazy? The etymology of crazy is broken in many pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So broken.
Right. Facts. Facts.
So thank you for sharing that. Thank you. I've been working actively to replace the word choice crazy with divine.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times what we'll even use call crazy is really something pure divinity. Like,
right.
I just having this shit crazy. No, that's divine. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
If I may, I want to tap back into disassociation, the words itself, because in my practice, in my studies, in my teaching, it's this idea of disassociation that births the shadow in the first place. It's the need to separate ourselves from a thing that even creates a shadow, casting it behind us, casting it out of our sight, putting it out of the light, that makes it this thing that we now feel the need to hide or to separate ourselves from or to block out. And what happens with this, and many people don't really realize, is that you think you're creating a boundary of some sort, or you're doing yourself a favor or others a favor by not being this one version or aligning with these people. But in fact, what you're doing is creating the shadow and thus ignoring it, starving it of love. And the shadow feeds off of that lack of love. The shadow will get bigger on your ass, is what I want to say. Mm-hmm. And the more you turn your back and run from it, it's getting bigger. He's getting bulky. She's catching up. And then you get swallowed by that very thing you think you're trying to get away from. It becomes bigger than you, versus turning around, right? Facing it, seeing it, loving it, literally sending it love. In my meditations for these releases we do with subconscious, we send it love first, and then we send it away. Okay, because if it's not getting the love that it needs, it's going to grow. It's like a whining baby. Don't you hear me calling for your attention? I'm calling for more. I'm needing more. And the more you ignore that yell, that scream, that cry is getting louder. Turn around, pick the little baby up. Pick the little baby up. Bring the little baby to your heart. Love the baby. Rub the baby. Kiss the baby. Soothe that energy. Soothe that thing that you want to disassociate from so much to where you no longer need to run from it. So it's no longer in the shadows. It's okay. You can come with me. Let's go. You can come with me.
That's facts. Mm-hmm. That's facts. Like just watching some of the God Brother Yosef videos over the years, and just through my own experience and confirmation to his videos, that's facts. Like, especially dealing with astral travels or dreams, like when you have these things that are chasing you in your dreams, or even you seeing shadow beings in this current reality, that's just a form of you that if you begin to run from, it's going to chase you. That's just a universal law. You dig what I'm saying? Because it's it's actually running towards you because you have the light codes for it, and it has the shadow codes for you. Period.
That's it.
And yeah.
That's what I say. I didn't mean to stop you.
I know, but it like
the
the cue set my channel up.
So keep this out then. So I'll say this then. Just to kind of what the goddess was speaking on. I was telling my wife this the other day, I was giving a scenario of how, how you playing a video game, right? Like a fighting game or whatever. And then you play these certain characters. You got to go, obviously they get harder and harder. And first of all, that's definitely the shadow. As you go up, you're fighting the different parts of yourself. But then there's the big boss, you know what I'm saying? That you got to fight. And so there's levels to shadow work. And we get intimidated by these levels sometimes. That big boss is your big upgrade. But what happens is if we do like what she was talking about, the example that she was giving, and running and neglecting and you know what I'm saying, just really, really moving in fear when it comes to our shadow, then now we stack up big bosses. So now you're going to do your shadow work finally and to face this. And you're like, man, this is too overwhelming because I got 10 big bosses right here. And nobody has taught us the balance, because in our community, you can't cry, you can't this, you can't that. We're constantly fighting to act like we're okay. And the only way that you're going to get to that point to where you can actually defeat this big boss, this part of you that has been suppressing you, that actually wants you to just hold it, the part that you have been fighting. See, I like to talk about, like we talk about over here a lot, we talk about don't fight your shadow, dance with your shadow. You know what I'm saying? A lot of
shadow
people want to fight.
dancing. Exactly right.
Actually, with that being said, because you tap in, you know, that's part of your gift as in dance. So how have you used dance, or have you used dance in this process of disassociation, of tapping in with that deep shadow work that's hitting home, that's, you know what I'm saying, that's really just major self-reflection?
Ooh. That's a layered question with many answers. Before I was actively healing or being anyone's shadow healer, dance was my medicine, you know? And it was like a way for me to express feelings that I didn't have words for, or feelings I didn't think I could say, because who's going to understand this? Who, you know? It was just a way for me to move it out of my body. Disassociating my body from my mind, right? My thoughts from who I am. Like, that's really what dance was able to do for me, is separate my body from my thoughts. I could just be present in myself with this music and this movement, and not be so in my head about whatever life is offering to me. And that led me into a space where I began to realize, like, oh, dance is a meditation for me. This is my active meditation, you know? So I began to teach it in that regard, which then now I'm meditating and I'm affirming myself, and I'm getting deep. I got my crystals, right? I'm like, I'm getting into my spiritual stuff, right? And so now as I'm getting deeper in that, I start to learn my chakra system. And within that, I discovered my sacral chakra, which I was grateful you showed me where that's at on my palm, you know? So I can be activated, just, you know, not having to move my hips, but I can be all up in this area. And, excuse me, I hear my cats fighting. I have like 5 cats outside. And I hear them fighting. I feel like I want to save my babies, but I'll stay focused. Wow. Okay. So that then moved into a space where I'm specifically working with women to activate their sacral chakra, which is your energy center for pleasure, creation. Okay. Creation. Not just making a baby, ladies. We use our womb for so much more than making a baby. We create life, right? So if you can understand what that portal is going to do for you and why it's important to balance and activate it. And then we use this tool for that, specifically for manifestation and beyond. And so that led me into understanding where trauma is stored in the body, specifically for all of us, but for women especially, it's in our womb, in our hips and things like this. And so now if I can get you to do this ancestral twerk, because I got to talk to you where I can reach you at, because if I can't reach you where you associate, then you disassociate from the healing, right? So right. I'm gonna talk to you in your language. I'd rather not use words like twerking and this and that, but if that's what I need to speak to your heart, then no judgment, right? But then I started teaching these sacral activations and these ancestral twerk and getting my girls to throw that ass in the healing circle, okay? Because I understood that now that you're moving your body, you out of your head, you're into your hips and you're into the movement, now we're able to receive the downloads. With it's like, I had a client here the other day, we did a microdosing movement session. And I bring her in, we do the sacred mushroom tea. From there, I opened her up into some a guided meditation, and then we drop into hip opening stretches. And I had her lay on her back. I don't know if y'all do yoga, but I know somebody watching does yoga. And when you lay on your back and you bring your knees up, your feet are wide, it's called happy baby. You think of a baby just laying there, you know. Mm-hmm. And when we went to open our hips and open our legs, and I'm just taking her through the movement, breathe through this. We're going to, push into this hip. You're going to feel a certain discomfort. Use your breath to guide you through it. And as it's happening, I'm asking her to be aware of the thoughts that are coming up. And I'm watching her burst into tears. Now, we're not doing nothing painful. I'm just telling you to be mindful of the thoughts that are coming up while you got your hips open this way. And watching what is being released from her was very telling of what's going on within the body. It's like a haunted house in there. It's a haunted house. And what's trapped inside is the ghosts of your past. and all of these traumatic thoughts and fearful feelings and things that you don't even know you're perpetuating inside of yourself. And then what we do is we associate self with these thoughts. And so now I think that these shadow beings or these shadow ideas, this shadow talk is me. It's not you. But until you can understand how to separate the body from the mind and all those things, and then you are allowing yourself to be what you are most fearful of. You know, and so in that moment, we opened up the doors of the haunted house and we watching all of these ghosts fly out. Baby girl got off that mat and had a whole new clarity about who she was in self. And this is how I've been able to use dance as medicine, this movement as medicine. Shake that shit off. Shake it out. That ain't you. You know, it's powerful. It's really powerful.
I say, and I know that, you know, just even just from a common sense aspect, you know, me and Kai call it, you know, cosmic common sense. Certain things we understand the energetic, and when you understand the energetic body, obviously dancing affects the nervous system. You know what I'm saying? And so obviously our nervous system and that tension, anxiety, like our trauma lives, you know, or thrives, or should I say projects in our nervous system, you know, so that's deep, as well as for that dancing, that flow of dancing, how it can actually free your nervous system, give your nervous system, like give that energy somewhere to go, you know. So that is very, very, very powerful, and y'all don't sleep on that. That's a shadow code.
Don't sleep. You know, I gave you just a little bit because I tell you I can talk about what dance does in this healing aspect. We can make a whole new episode about that by itself, okay? Specifically in integration, right? Being able to, when I say integration, which is so important in shadow work, but being able to embody the parts of ourselves that we're calling in. So you're talking about these light codes, all of these things can just pass right through you, you know, but if you don't embody it, ground it, get it into the cellular structure, let that become your new memory, then it's just, it's transient. It's just passing through, you know. That's been another good thing. Movement and dance has been able to help really embody the goddess. You know, that's,
what,
you know.
What helped me, and it didn't just hit me till you literally just said that. I got this little lion right here, and I had this ever since I was like a baby, damn near. And it was at my mama house, and I seen it. And I'm like, oh, I remember that, but it's been sitting in the same spot ever since I was little. But I'm looking at it like I've seen it for the first time. Like, oh, I remember that. Like I forgot about it. Then I go back over there the other day, and I'm walking down the steps, and I seen it again, more like it seen me, and I just felt like I had to have it. And I felt like just now you saying that was a part of me subconsciously stopping myself from disassociating from the cub-like energy I have with my family and alchemizing it into a lion energy and actually being able to project.
Come on, King.
How to heal them. You know what I'm saying? So like,
and guess what? You embodying who you are, because that's, come on, man. You know how I feel big Leo energy, and you know how we who we are. So that is, come on now, my brother.
Facts.
That's powerful, Kai.
Facts. And that's what I wanted to touch on as well. That like embodying things, right? This is why in ancestral dances or ceremonies, you see them get in headdress and everything like that. They get, because they're channeling a specific energy, you know what I'm saying, to actually embody it. So if there's something that you guys want to embody, get a piece of it. If you want to feel more fluent throughout life, get a duck feather. You know what I'm saying? Like all the ducks, they know it's bee hunting season, but they still be out there. They be having their ducklings. They, you know what I'm saying? They be flowing through it, whatever. So like these things are not for us to cling on to as a crutch, but they are just a reminder for energy that we already harbor inside, that this energy is just helping to magnetize to our forefront.
You are a walking altar, family.
Exactly. In
that regard, every dance is a prayer, you know. And so I got on the line with one of my very first coaches ever. He was a man that taught me the power of activating my goddess within. I will always be very grateful for that. A lot of times as women, we think we need a woman to teach us how to do certain things, but you know, sometimes it requires being seen by the divine masculine to wake up that divine feminine within you, you know. So I love that y'all support the goddesses the way that you do, because we need y'all in this process very much. Y'all call us up, y'all call us higher. So give thanks. When I was speaking to him, we were just, you know, having some conversations about New Earth and what life is right now. And like, you know, what it feels like to have the tools and to know who you are and still meet struggle, to still find challenge. You know, that's very. It's like a knock on your ego
Paradox.
a little bit, which is something that I want to talk about too, because you talked about that you called it like the big guy, the
big boss.
Yeah, I thought about the ego because a lot of people don't consider the ego as a shadow, but I'll circle forward to that. He asked me, you know, well, what are you doing in these times to make sure you're staying aligned with the energy, the powers that be? What are you doing for yourself to stay with the energy? Because as long as you have your connection with the energy source, then you don't got to worry about what's going on around you. What are you doing? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And when he asked me that question, I felt a little stumped. I'm like, damn. I'm like, well, meditate, journal, say my affirmation on my altar. He's like, are you still dancing? You know? And I was like, ooh. I actually haven't got up and danced in a while. I still move. He was like, are you dancing? You know? And whenever he said that, I reminded myself, it's been a minute since I've allowed myself to be the wind, to be the earth, to be the fire, to be the water. That's how I connect with these elemental energies. The very next day, I went outside and my meditation was dancing. Played my little playlist and I'm out there, I'm in the wind and I'm closing my eyes and I'm doing all the things, and I must have went to push something and I opened my eyes, and as I'm doing my hands and my head going back, I'm in it. I see the palm trees in front of me because I'm in Mexico. Don't forget, I live in a paradise. I noticed the palm trees just bend back like this, and then a big gust of wind come and everything just kind of starts shaking, and all the nature is dancing with me. Birds flying in the same direction. I'm pushing energy, and I was just like, I'll be damned. This is what he meant. Am I doing my part to stay aligned with these energetic forces so that I'm in harmony with all that is? And when you can find your way to be connected to the energy in that way, whether it's like Qigong or yoga or using your cards and your teleconnect, whatever you're doing to be aligned with those invisible powers, then you're doing your part. You're doing your part, you know? And so that's another way for me, because I tell you, I talk about dance all day. That has been my medicine.
Guess what, family? Y'all will create blockages, energetic blockages, in many ways, which will be stopping manifestation, stopping different healing, different upgrades, different things happening in your inner verse, but also it will create pain in the body. Your neck hurting, back hurting, leg hurting. These things are energy that's just trapped. And so
yeah, like my fault. Go ahead.
You good, bro? Let's get it.
It's literally the Kundalini energy rising up the spine. You can like a way to. I'm literally seeing it in my mind's eye. It's like when the serpent tries to climb up through a chakra and there's a block, it's just punching up against it, and that's where that strain of energy is coming from. So I was talking to King about this yesterday. Sometimes balance is keeping the law of the energy field. But in order for you to keep the law of the energy field, if this is light over here and this is dark over here, if dark is trying to come at the light, sometimes, yes, you do counterbalance it with the light, but sometimes the dark has to be chin checked in order for it to realize that, yes, the light can get dark too. Don't get it twisted. You did what I'm saying?
It's
So
all the same. It's all each other.
Exactly. So like when these blockages come forth, sometimes we have to again go into it. Like some people do think I'm weird for this, but like I have, like when I get bruises, I'm like sorry I don't get bruises now, but like this is how much I like pressure or I like challenges. If I get a bruise, I'm pressing on it myself because it don't feel like it hurt. It feel like it's charging me up. It feel like I just got a button on my body that's just pressure point. I can send some energy there. So it's the same thing in conjunction with life. Anytime you experience pressure, energy is being sent to you because you have reached a auric mass to actually hold that space and integrate it and hold it for yourself or potentially somebody else that needs to upgrade.
Shay Kai, you made me think. You spoke on that thing about the bruises. I know many people. I know I was one of those as a child that used to press on my bruises and like, yeah. I'm like, damn, I really like this pain. And I'm gonna be real vulnerable here on this space because I'm not new to that vulnerability. But I'm just checking in with myself before I open up like that. A lot of times we look for ways to manifest the pain inside of us that we can't really express on or tap on otherwise, And then we find comfort in that. And for me, that looked like cutting as a child. I used to cut myself. That's something I've ever really shared publicly like this. So I might have to get on my live and go ahead and tell the whole story because Lord, it's outside now. But yeah, I was very expressive and didn't really feel like I had the tools to share the things that I needed to say, how and when I needed to say it. You know, I had a very challenging childhood. And so for me, when it would get to places and points in my life where I was angry, but I couldn't express it and I wasn't being heard, I would find ways to physically manifest the pain and the things that I was dealing with inside so that I could feel okay on the outside. Yeah. So, you know, I just bring that up because when you said that, that's what it made me think about. And I wonder if even for you, that's somewhere, you know, present.
Yeah, that's a very dope perspective that I really didn't correlate, because I definitely could see that, like, the reason I will press on the bruise is probably because I didn't know how to process such forms of emotional energy that I was having internally, to whereas these little bursts is I can kind of know what I'm feeling, but without me actually having a guide to understand that emotional energy, I was just using that as like a coping mechanism. So like, I'm grateful for that perspective, because now I can even go back and do more shadow work for that aspect of my inner child and bring it to the light.
And just to add the layer onto that, pardon me, King, just to add another layer onto that, it's very similar with people that get a lot of tattoos to this day. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They still need to go under the needle and feel that pain. They need to bring that to the out, you know, that inside to the out, you know. So yeah, it's very common. It's very common that we do that.
That's deep. That's
So
deep.
I was gonna say it's also a form of escapism, and it's kind of deep because normally you wouldn't think it's escapism, because like for me, you know what I'm saying, I did a lot of drugs. You know, I lost a lot of people. I went through a lot of things. You know, like I can relate to you as far as my childhood. You know what I'm saying, really living out here on the streets at 13, 12, and you know, really, so experiencing a lot of different things, a lot of different trauma at an early age. My whole family was addicted to drugs, drug dealers, whatever. It was all around me. So I escaped through drugs. I escaped through coke, through X, through this and that, or whatever pills. Not, you know, that was my escape to run from my trauma. But I think it's deep because that is a normal thing that we know. We know that, okay, that's escapism. But you wouldn't know that thriving or running to pain would be escapism too. And I'm gonna use relationships as an example for the goddess and the gods. You could be with a person and you could be broken, but trying to escape the pain, you run more towards them. You see what I'm saying? And that obviously seems like a contradiction, but obviously we're not thinking sober-minded. You see what I'm saying? We're being controlled by our emotions, our subconscious. This trauma is controlling us. So I think that is deep, that we need to understand that you can be running towards pain, thinking, well, I'm facing my shadow, and you literally could be escaping, still in a part of escapism. So I really appreciate y'all for that download.
I see. If I can add to that, it's like I'd like to add the perspective of that being an invitation from your shadow. It's an invitation. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, we'll just use the inner child, for example. We have so many unhealed wounds and experiences that we have no clarity about from our inner child, that our subconscious will project into our reality opportunities to gain clarity that the inner child still needs. You know what I'm saying? So that might look like for women with, you know, broken relationships with their fathers. You know, I was trying to find a better way to say daddy issues, but it is what it is. Like for women with daddy issues, right? But we find ourselves in relationships with men that look like our fathers, that may do what our dads did, that have similar traits or qualities. And you don't understand why that is. Why would I want to be with somebody like the man that hurt me? Or even if it's not your father, you find yourself in relationship after relationship with the same type of person, you know, and it's like you're repeating these patterns. And so a lot of times we just want to call that girl crazy. She's broken, right? Or you insane, or why don't you see this? You know, we want to blame her for going back, but she has a problem she's trying to solve on a subconscious level. So she's being invited by the root, right? Where the answer to that problem is to come and solve this equation. If you don't have awareness of that, you'll keep coming back and you're doing it in vain. But if you allow yourself to be with the understanding, okay, this is shadow. This is my shadow. My inner child needs answers. I don't trust a man to love me. Okay, this is a shadow of mine specifically. I've been able to address. I'll be in a relationship with someone. I'll pray for the perfect man. He'll show up. And now that he's here, I'm going to nitpick him. I'm going to find everything about him that doesn't align with me. I'm going to make him know all the things that don't feel good in this relationship. I'm going to run his ass away. Okay. And then he's gone and I'm sad and I'm crying because I'm single again. Well, what happened? You prayed for him and you manifested it. What happened? Okay. Well, if I can do my shadow work in that relationship to see what this person came to show me, I'm unhealed. I still have unhealed things that need to be resolved within me. If I don't trust a man to love me, why would I just all of a sudden pray for the perfect man? He shows up and I'm going to just give the will up? No, girl. You still got work to do in this area. And you've invited someone into your life for you to be able to live through this experience and heal it. So do your work. Because if you project onto someone else, oh, you're the issue and not me, then you miss that opportunity to get the work done. And you're going to continue to attract a new teacher. And until you do the work, you're not going to pass that class. That's just how that goes.
I like to call it, you know what I'm saying, you compromising and constantly looking for a snack when you know you need a meal. Yeah. You know, that snack ain't gonna never fulfill you. You know what I'm saying? It's just a false sense. It's not real. You know what I'm saying? And it's not bringing real nutrition either. You know what I'm saying? It's really counterproductive. But I want to speak on this example with disassociation for me because I actually called Kyle. I went back home. I went to Texas and had a graduation and everything to attend and kicking with the family. And I only supposed to have been there. I supposed to have been picking up my car. So I only supposed to have been there. Me and my wife supposed to have been there like 4 to 8 hours at the most. And I'll tell you, and people know me, I'm very private. I move. I have everything set in place what I'm gonna do in order. When I go to Texas, I go anywhere. This day I'm doing this. I have everything in order. So I'm stuck here 2 more days. And keep in mind, my hometown, I look at this place like I used to call it the city of graves. You know, so much trauma. I lost so many people. I went through so much hell. Like I really literally hated that place. You know what I'm saying? And so I would hate going there. You know what I'm saying? I was just literally just demised, just hated this place. And so, like you were saying, I ran from it. I ran from Waco. My whole life I ran from this city. You know what I'm saying? But this time I called Kai and said, bro, I'm in a situation where I gotta go to this party. And it's my family, it's my sister party. So it's like, man, you know, but I wasn't supposed to be there. Me and wife supposed to be back on the road. So we wasn't even gonna have to be at this party. Because I don't do parties, I don't do people, I don't do extra people, vibration ain't right, I ain't there. They already know me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't with none of that. So I called Kai, I said, bro, I feel some type of way about this. We talked, you know what I'm saying? Ancestors speaking, nature, I'm seeing cardinals, different things is happening and just speaking, and we like, okay, boom. Kai was like, bro, really, you know what I'm saying? You know who you are, bro. You king, bro. Like you, anywhere you go, you shift the room, the energy. But it's what you do. Like, you know, like you be the light. I said, be the light, bro. You know I'm around, bro. Like you know where I'm at, G. Be the light, bro. Okay, I went on the back patio, and I sat there. In this moment, this city was the city of graves to me. Before that phone call, I just hated this place. I went on the back patio, and I looked at the grass and the trees, and I'm on the West Coast. And you ain't got nature like you got back home in Texas. I just started to appreciate the nature. Just like all the killing, the trauma, the drugs, the pain, the abuse, or whatever. Forget all that. This place is beautiful. Look at nature. Look how many trees is. This building could be Radley, but look at God right there next to that tree. Look at the beauty. And I was able to, you know, like not attack the disassociation or really face it and be like, you know what? Like, I love this city, even though it broke me, even though because it made me the strongest being ever. It made me this person where I can get out here and alchemize and I can raise shadow work from the ground like the Hootie. You know, I can do these things because this city put me through so much hell. It was heaven. It was hell to get to heaven. And so I have to share that story, you know, with y'all.
Yeah, like we have to understand that first and foremost, our mind is it does become a graveyard due to the program is embedded in us from a young age, but through the tilling and of that mental fortification that we're doing and tilling of the ground and everything, it becomes a fertile garden. And so does our external reality in conjunction with that, because it's the law of correspondence, as above, so below. So everything that is happening internally, like in King's story, he understands who he is. So then when he went and made that connection with that grass, he didn't see Waco from his lower perspective. He seen it from the perspective of who he is now, his fertile garden, and seeing that in that he can go into that underworld and bring it up to a higher frequency by just being him, period.
And let me say this real quick, because I missed out a key point. I end up doing, Kyle tell you, I end up doing major, not me doing shadow work, but being the healer in the environment.
Exactly.
Like that. Oh man, it was so powerful. People opened their hearts. Things really happen. So family, we go into these places that we look at as the trap. Is just like, man, that's horrible. But family, you could go right in there and be the alchemy of that room, the shift. And you know how that feels amazing. Because you know I conquered self, and I wasn't fearful, but also due to me not being fearful, somebody else's soul was able to be affected. And that's what this is all about at the end of the day.
That's you living in your purpose and bringing that purpose back home.
Bringing it back home.
Come on, full circle. See what I did there?
You did, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm about to go back home. And like you saying, King, I'm telling you, I haven't lived in Texas since maybe 2015 was the last time I lived in Texas for a little while. And so that's almost, 8 years. It's been a while. When I do go home, my whole family's home. I'm talking born and raised in Houston. I went to college. I left for a little bit, but I came back and finished school there. My mom, my grandparents are still alive, thank you God. My nephews, my family is in Houston, Texas, okay? I go home, y'all got 3 to 4 days max. Y'all got 3 to 4 days max. That's like touchdown, kiss everybody, head back to the airport. You know, get a good meal in, and I'm out. And this time I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm not touching down or run away from my family. I'm going to touch down. I'm going to sit down for a second. So I'm not, spending too much time. I'm going to give them a good month. They're going to get a good 4 weeks. That terrifies me. I'm going to be real honest. When I touch down, nobody knows the divine soul. I'm going to it's just Taylor. It's just Taylor. It's like I'm walking into a haunted house like, what's up? Let's get it. And in doing that, I'm expecting to alchemize the energy, but not just for myself, but my family. I no longer want to be disassociated from who I was as I'm becoming who I am. I want to embody all of that. I want to be fully integrated in that being. So that looks like for me, hearing my family call me Taylor and then embracing it and introducing them to divine soul at the same time. Giving them an opportunity to meet who I have become and letting them see the divinity in me, so they be like, shit, your name is divine. I tried to tell you, but letting them meet her and not going home with this energy or attitude like I used to have. Like, y'all don't even know me. Y'all don't even know me. Nobody calls me that. My name is divine. You don't even know me, right? It was creating I was allowing myself to get so caught up in my own disassociation from self. Then now I'm creating these barriers for my family. Like, y'all can even get to me no more because I'm not even who I used to be. So adamant about not becoming who they programmed me to be, not realizing that they could use some unprogramming, some deprogramming themselves. I was able to liberate myself, but not on my own fruition. I got to also honor the truth, which is that my people gave me that initiation and that activation. It doesn't matter if it came from love, or if they're the ones that bought my passport, if they're the ones that suggested I travel, or if they're the ones that gave me so much hell in my childhood that I'm like, I gotta get the fuck up out of here. Don't matter how it came, and it was my activation, it was my initiation. And it put me on a journey to go get what I have now, and it is only right that I operate in my purpose and I bring it back to home. So I'm bringing my medicine bag with me. I'm packing a bag. I'm going to check a bag, probably 2, because I'm going to be there for a month. But I'm going to bring my medicine bag, too. They ain't never seen that. Mama, sip this mushroom tea. Tell me what you think about. Nana, take a sip of this tea and tell me about your childhood. I'm going to put my people on this activation that they gave me. They didn't know what they was looking for when they showed me what I needed to see to get the fuck on. But now I'm bringing it back to them. Like, okay, look what I learned for us. A lot of us will go and get real big and leave our families behind. Like, y'all not big enough to come where I'm going. That's your fault.
That's
your fault. Your family don't have access. You know? Because our families are a part of our purpose. They're a part of who we are today. And it's like, you know, we get so big, you want to cut them off. I don't know why I'm thinking about athletes right now. I'm thinking about athletes that don't have their dads in their picture. And they go get real big and their daddy want to call them and be, congratulations, son, you a pro now. Mm-hmm. And they so mad, no, you can't have $1, dad. I understand you don't want to share your money with your father, but he's your genetics. That man gave you life. Maybe he didn't know how to be a dad to you, but now he's got a reason to be excited for what he's created. Use it as the invitation to now go and give that man love. You know, welcome that person back into your life. Be welcoming of who was a part of your creation. But we so quick to just cut people off, not realizing that we're cutting ourselves off from that source of love and that source of energy that is still a part of us.
You know what's deep? Like, you know, you really hit home with the father thing, because, you know, me and my father went through hell my whole life, you know what I'm saying? And not talking for years and many different times, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, recently, you know what I'm saying? It was, you know, we last 2 years, you know, we had went through a lot, and we've been talking, but we hadn't physically seen each other. And I physically seen him, you know, I think last week, you know, and it was beautiful to me, you know. But before that, you know, when I had other opportunities to see him, when I thought about seeing him, you know, I would get this certain type of anxiety, and I would, you know, which would create this fear, which would create a holistic way of running. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, we can find these ways to finesse ourselves out of situations. And when I finally, you know, was able to, you know, face that situation, man, you know, obviously I'm who I am, and I'm always there on the phone, I'm talking my stuff. But sometimes when you be in that light, people run from you a lot of times. And so, but when they come back, when they feel like it's, you know, it's the right timing for them, and we got to respect that. And so it was a time, and me and him talked, man, we talked for 3 hours, you know what I'm saying, face to face, probably longer than that, you know, in hot Arizona outside. That tell you something, you know, like, but we were able to connect. And obviously it did a lot for him, but we got to understand, like, that anger, that resentment, that betrayal, that frustration, that revenge is not really serving us no purpose or positive. It's really actually harming us. It's like, you know, being okay with living with a cancer. So whenever we actually do approach these situations, and, you know, we go through the process, it's not pretty at first. Me and him played plenty of times. We hanging up, we ain't talking, it was a process. But I was planting seeds. I'm constantly throwing seeds in this garden.
Exactly.
Boom. And he one day he's gonna wake up and water them mugs. You know what I'm saying? If I get on the phone and hit him with some fun.
It's
and I'm constantly,
like,
then one day we were able to sit there just last week and look at the garden and have a conversation in the garden.
I shame.
You know.
Yeah. I wanted to say, like, it's all about your intention. Like, people when we disassociate from our family, it starts off in the balanced heart chakra space, because we want to protect our purpose, protect ourselves, protect our dreams, protect what we believe in. But in doing that, you do shut yourself off from the aspect that your family can teach you based on the intentions that you have. So if you have the intentions, okay, I'm protecting myself from the negativity that they're going to project, that's an okay intention to have. But you also need to have the intention that in doing that same thing, you also have to counterbalance the frequency. So you have the intention to protect yourself, but also have the intention to know that what you are giving them, how you are operating in that energy, oh my gosh, the intention chakra, that's what I wanted to go. The intention chakra. So the intention chakra is over, it becomes overbalanced. You haven't, that's what I want to say. You have intentions on making them hurt. You have intentions on making them feel like you that guy now. Okay, you said I can't do this. Now your intentions in showing them what you are capable of doing is to make them feel some type of way. When in all actuality, that's doing both of y'all a disservice. You're creating a whole nother shadow. So I say all that to say your intention chakra, the chakra that deals with the thymus gland, that's right above the heart chakra. The thymus gland is your intention chakra. That chakra has a body. It has a whole, it's an energetic body. It's called the intention body. So if you are setting your intentions, not even consciously, but embodying a energy of like, I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna do this to make them feel some type of way, then it's not gonna be holistic. That's an overactive heart chakra because you do love yourself, but it's not pure. It's not a holistic, superconducting, self-generating love. You dig what I'm saying? So we also have to check our intentions and make sure that when we are going back to, like the God is saying, everything that she's saying, her intentions are pure. She's going back. She said, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna have this tea. I'm gonna be. She's making it. She's setting the intentions. Her intention body is already back at her home state. And when she goes back to in line with that energetic body, she don't even have to do nothing. It's flow state now because you've already sent your being or an aspect of yourself, an aspect of your consciousness to that place with the blueprint mapped out for you. So sometimes we have to check our intentions.
I give thanks. You reminded me of such an important thing I want to touch on. So in terms of the shadow, a lot of times the very things that evoke us emotionally are really just ourselves, but it's outside of our awareness. So it's like this thing that you're feeling all of a sudden is just trying to get your attention. You're not necessarily feeling it because you need to form an opinion about it, or because you need to form a judgment of it, or even cast it out. It simply needs your awareness. Sometimes we just take an extra step too soon. If you can sit in that awareness, you'll learn what you need to do at that moment. So I say that because a lot of times, to your point, Kyle, you're saying we go home and we create these defenses against the people that we love in order to protect ourselves, but we're protecting ourselves from ourself. These are things about yourself that you don't like, that you haven't honored or acknowledged. And so you're doing yourself a disservice because without the awareness of, oh, this is me too, you're perpetuating the very thing that you don't like, which is how you manifest a version of them that you didn't want to be in the first place. And you're not dealing with it. You won't even sit with it. You won't even have a conversation with it. You're running from it. So you can't handle it, you know? And this is the thing. It's like we spend our whole lives, women, you know, not trying to be like our mom. Men not trying to date a woman like our mom. So we go and get the very opposite thing. Black men with a white woman. Okay, but I don't even understand what this is about me because, you know, whatever, do your own shadow work with that, or call me, book me for a session, or call King. We got you, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But the thing being, you're not even dealing with the thing that is you, but you're trying so hard not to be that thing. Okay, you're perpetuating the shadow. So how do you mitigate that? How do you solve that issue? When you feel something so intense, when you can feel emotion, something that evokes emotion in you, whether it's the way somebody looks at you, the way they talk at you, or what they have said, if that can trigger you, that's the word I want to use. If you can be triggered by something, it deserves your attention. A lot of us are triggered. We want to teach somebody how to not trigger us anymore. We want to highlight all of our triggers and then thus becoming a landmine. Okay, don't step on that because I'm going to get upset. Don't step on that because that makes me cry. Don't touch that because that hurts. Okay, you just telling people how not to trigger you, but you're not dealing with what's triggering you. Next time you're triggered and you feel something, sit in that. Oh, I'm feeling something. Okay, wait a minute. What am I feeling here? You said this thing. I don't like this thing. I feel that. Okay, what is that thing teaching you about yourself? Well, if you can sit with it long enough, you might recognize this is actually something that my mama used to say to me when I was X, Y, and Z. I bring home a report card. I got a bad grade on it. And she would tell me, oh, you're so stupid. So every time somebody call me stupid, I blow up. I'm upset. Okay, let's be with it. Okay, mama, I wasn't stupid, mama. I needed help learning to read. I was dyslexic. You never gave me attention. I needed some extra time, some extra love. Okay, now I realize that it's not being called stupid that triggers me. It's not getting the extra attention and love that I need when I'm in need of help. Okay, I'm learning about myself now. Now I can remove this trigger when I'm being called stupid. I can actually remind myself, okay, I actually just need love in this moment. So now I can speak up for my needs and not react to my trauma response, to this trigger. Okay, this is how we start to do the work. Otherwise, we're just perpetuating the pain.
And you know what? I want to speak on this from a energetic aspect. That is, we are creating and aligning with karmic cycles when we are doing this. And so karmic cycles are going to constantly play out until you clear it. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like being dirty. I've used this example before. You know, if you want to get clean, you want to put on a new outfit, you want to go out and you want to be fresh, you gotta take your clothes off and get in the shower. You see what I'm saying? There is a process that we gotta go through. And sometimes like we don't want to go through that process. You know what I'm saying? But that is a major part. That karmic cycle has to be broken, family. And when we continue to run or project or do everything that the guys are speaking on, we're actually creating the karmic cycle for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times I talk to a lot of people and, you know, a lot of my family, which is honestly why I don't be talking to them, why I be frustrated. It's a lot of complaining, you know, and that complaining is doing the same thing that she's talking about too. It's feeding that karmic cycle. You see what I'm saying? We have to be action people, be everybody about it. Everybody this, everybody that, everybody walk around, they gangster, they this and that. Well, like I say all the time, the most gangster thing you can do is heal, is face yourself. So let's get gangster with this and get active. You know what I'm saying? And actually, it's not something that you have to, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So it's not something, sometimes I think I want to speak on this. We feel like we got to go. You may not can deal with your mother and your father, the trauma at the same time. You may not can. Pace yourself. You see what I'm saying? But don't be complaining the way gratitude is the key to your to you manifesting peace and clarity through that process. But if you're complaining, then you're just feeding your subconscious more pain, more trauma, more anxiety. You're anticipating. It's like drinking liquor when you're mad or when you're sad. You're anticipating it versus relieving the pressure. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, this is about we the pressure is good. The elevation is when we actually figure out how to relieve it. You see what I'm saying?
That's so good.
So I actually got a few questions there. Forget it. Let's go here. I didn't know if I was going to actually do this in the episode because I mean, this channel is so open right now, and it's a very big flow state energy.
Channel
right
wide open, and I got my floodgates on because I ain't trying to just flood out all the things. Thank you for keeping it back.
I say. So I'm gonna ask a few questions, and you ask these questions to yourself. You know what I'm saying, for the tribe. And in my opinion, these are a few signs of disassociation. So, do you avoid going places and seeing people who remind you of parts of yourself that you dislike or you hate? Which obviously we've talked about that. Do you overcompensate in relationships that you feel you can't lose? So a person that I can't lose this person, so they may not be good for me. But you overcompensate to make sure that they don't leave. Do you always have someone around? Do you always need music, some type of stimulation? That means you can't sit with self. You need noise. You know what I'm saying, to actually be able to coexist with yourself. That is a sign. Are you not able to remember your childhood memories? That is another sign, because that is disassociation. You disassociated. The reason why you can't remember that memory because you disassociated from the trauma. So you're blocking out the memory. So those are a few of my questions, that I would like the tribe and everyone to ask themselves. And even if you write it down and ask yourself, I prefer you to ask yourself by yourself, and do a self-reflection on those certain things, because everything is not as deep as they make it seem. Something is very simple.
Literally, like somebody asked me the other day, do you figure out where you go after you die? And I was like, the answer is simple. It's like plainly simple. It's you choose. It's based on the level of energy that you can build inside of your auric field and the level of conscious retainancy that you can have over it to carry on to the next life. So also I did want to reiterate, just since we're talking about this as well, is fasting. Sometimes I unintentionally fast. Like, I got to get back on my fasting in a routine like nature that I used to have it on. But sometimes I like just find myself, 3 days pass, find out I ain't eat. And the reason I find out is because how much I can feel. So another way to help kind of speed up the process of not disassociating from something. It's actually fasting, because when we eat, we're really eating not even to get full. It's really for a stimulation or a dopamine hit, or because this texture of this food feels nice on my tongue, or it tastes good, or like the music, it sounds good, or a walk or whatever. We always constantly trying to feel something, like the guy that said earlier. So the way to feel the most is by stopping yourself from feeling anything, because then that's when the energy and motion has an actual alleyway to travel through you. Like when you're eating food, there's too much energy trying to process so much density. And because your energy, especially the negative energies and emotions that you have, are becoming less dense, it's easier for you to process them when you're not eating. They will, trust me when I say this, they will feel the most intense ever. Because when I'm wondering why I'm having this like horrific day. Whole time it was because something I needed to process internally, and I'm just feeling, it felt like my stomach was hurting. That will never happen when I fast. So I knew it was a block somewhere within my solar plexus. The energy that was coming in was very, very anxious, and I understood that, oh, this is a superpower of fasting. This is the fastest way to become self-aware is to fast, literally. So I just want to reiterate that with the tribe. When you want to tap more into your family and help them heal, fast. You know what I'm saying? Because that will speed up the process of how fast you can get a light code and send it off.
I'm gonna drop another simple gem in this process of what we're talking about, disassociation and things like fast and things we're talking about. The simple steps that you want to make sure that you follow to protect your energy, to make sure that you keep yourself balanced, is that in these processes, you rest, you reset, and you restore. You determine what that looks like in your reality, but that is very important, And with that being said, let's transition to the cosmiometrics, because we have not tapped in with Nephra Soul, and she has the divine message for us with the energies and the alignments of the planet and the shifts that are going on and how they could be affecting us. So let's tap in right now to ground the energy.
Wholeness to the tribe. It's your goddess Nephra Soul here with the Cosmiometrics for the next 7 days. And great celebration too, we are finally out of Mercury retrograde energy. Mercury officially moves back into its home sign, Gemini, which means that we're going to be moving out of our intuition and more into our intellect, as well as seeing a lot of growth in our communication. Even though this communication time can feel a little iffy, because instead of it just only being clear cut and straight to the point, your thoughts are going to be moving constantly. So if you've been looking to find an equilibrium when it comes to your thought process, this may not be the best time for that, because we also have Saturn in Pisces. So you're going to be moving in a duality space where you're working with your intellect but also working with the intuition at the same time, but also more so in the intellect spectrum, because we are finally out of that retrograde phase. So we're gonna have to go through a little bit of transformation before we can actually dive and stay in that intuition space. Now Saturn goes retrograde in Pisces at the end of the week, so we will be feeling some of that shadow energy, that dreamy state. So that could also be why you'll have a little bit of an issue keeping the thoughts in clarity space. Now when it comes to Saturn works a lot with the karmic energy. It also works with illusions. So this is another reason why you're going to be going through a bit of a challenge, but a challenge that you are prepared for, because we got the Cosmiometrics here to give you that energy and that clarity before you get into this energy. This week is going to require you to be very patient with yourself, because we have a lot of back and forth energy. We have a lot of yin and yang energy. What you are going to be working on is staying in that middle path. So again, not overly focused on using intuition or intellect, but learning how to swing like a pendulum between the two. So this week is going to test your ability to stay on your path, stay in your truth, as well as a lot of expression when it comes to that truth as well. Because again, with Mercury moving back into Gemini, communication is going to come back into the forefront. And with Saturn being in Pisces and going into retrograde at the end of the week, it's also going to push you to recognize all the ways that you've been going against yourself. A lot of the ways that you've been creating your own illusions, whether it was based on your trauma or based on different belief systems, all of that is going to come to the forefront now. And then we also got Pluto that's moving into Capricorn at the beginning of this week as well. And because Saturn rules Capricorn, that also brings a lot of emphasis on that transformation when it comes to your life lessons, your karmic cycles, your illusions, and all of the different challenges that you're going to be facing this week. But again, take it easy. This is not to scare you. This is not to make you feel like you're not going to be in control this week. This is actually more so about letting go of control. And again, seeing how much you could believe in yourself, trust in yourself, and trust in the universe, because this is all to help you better yourself. This week is designed to help you break through different patterns, different roadblocks, different obstacles, different illusions that you have created for yourself over the past couple years, especially the past couple months. So utilize this time to try something new, break through different patterns, trying different spiritual routines that's going to allow you to actually step into a new version of yourself. Understand that this week is bringing opportunity for you to learn how to operate in the duality of life, the cause and effect of life, and no longer fighting the tide of the universe, fighting the tide of the way your life is playing out. This is your opportunity to finally learn how your flow goes, how your flow works, so that you can step into your best self. Keep flowing, keep thriving, and let's get back to our cosmically scheduled program. Hope.
Give thanks,
I
God.
say much gratitude.
Say,
Divine message.
big alignment for sure, and win confirmation all through the video.
With the show, for sure, most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely.
Dang, I'm just now noticing the background. That's tough.
Yes, sir.
You know how I'll be about the backgrounds. Yeah, that's tough.
Did you notice
Sir.
the yonis behind the goddess? All the yonis.
That's deep because that's deep because
I'm like,
normally if
one
I'm sitting
yoni.
this way, I sit right in front of the yoni. So that's deep.
All the yonis. Give thanks. Powerful portal
I
energy.
say.
Portal right behind me, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
We got this.
It's
I'm
an
sitting right in the
angular
middle of a
energy.
portal.
I see it.
I say,
Yes.
I got bro got kicked out. But yes, much gratitude to Nefer Soul once again. We love the updates, and the time that you take, to channel those messages. And so, Divine Soul,
Yes.
I feel like we have went in. Yeah, this has been amazing.
We
and
have,
so,
and I feel like we barely scratched the surface.
exactly.
Barely. For real.
That's what I was going to say. I think we, we'll talk behind the scenes, but I feel like there will definitely be a part 2. I'm gonna give y'all a little background real quick. So normally when it comes to the episodes, the special guests, I don't talk to a special guest for the first time the same week that they come on the show, ever. It's always more structured and more, I literally talk to you, Tuesday?
Mm-hmm. Wednesday.
Wednesday. Literally Wednesday. And she's on the show this Sunday. So it happened. It was a smooth transition. It was amazing. But I do feel like that we have more time to tap in, because this was a channeled message. It was a flow state. I feel that there was even healing and revelations happening for us in real time during this episode.
Sure.
And so that had to happen, because a lot of times we have to heal by ourselves. And so that's what Shadow Work Sundays is. This is a trial. We heal together as a trial. Like I said, we're sitting in the living room right now, and we in the cosmos, in the most metaphysical, luminous couch you ever seen. You know what I'm saying?
No, facts.
And we having some amazing conversations. But the difference is, and this is connected with what Kyle do on TikTok, these are soul talks. So tonight, our souls got to have a conversation and connect.
Facts.
And so the next episode is going to be straight podcast that we're going to do with y'all. So I'm honored, and I'm excited to bring her back. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so honored to be here, and I would love to be back because I see the work that you're doing. I have been doing this work for a long time alone, and I've been calling in support my tribe, collaboration. We in that season right now. So this feels really good to me. I'm very grateful
I
for the
see.
manifestation. King, I'm not sure what's next on the agenda or if we're closing out the call. There is something on my heart that I want to speak to if we have a moment.
No, let's get it.
To be honest, it's just the channel is open and I don't know what language is gonna fall onto the vibration. I'm just gonna flow, you know. You spoke to something earlier when you talked about the big boss, you know. We battle all these little versions. We have all these little battles, and then we get to the big battle. And if we don't deal with it, then they're stacking on top of each other. And I couldn't help but see that as the ego self. And I just wanted to touch on it a little bit. We can do the dance later, you know. But we talk about ego. It is often something that comes in a very dark space. You know, we think of ego. We think, oh, I got to get rid of this guy, or I can't let it get too big, or I got to keep it in check. And what is happening is we are creating a shadow of the ego, because the ego is your sense of self, who you see yourself to be. So if you don't get a healthy view on yourself and welcome the awareness and allow yourself to study yourself, study the ego, befriend the ego to truly know who you are, you're going to have an imbalance with that process, thus creating a shadow with the ego. Okay, but the opposite end of that spectrum, because we know everything's on a spectrum, right? And on too far on either end, we off the mark. So I love whenever the goddess said, just keep that pendulum swinging right there in the middle. We don't want to go too far to intellect, too far to intuition, okay? Because what happens is we get so deep in this work, so evolved in our language, our jargon, how we talk about shadow work and talk about our trauma and healing, that we begin to equip our shadows with the language to outsmart the ego.
Man.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
It's now you got these big bad shadows that's studying with you, that's reading with you, that's gaining the knowledge and the information with you, and then they can outsmart you.
Let me ask you, Goddess, do you look at that as a bad thing?
It depends on which end of the spectrum you're on. How far, if you're on an end of the spectrum, if you can't come into that sweet spot, then it might be a problem, you know. And to give you a little context to that, I have identified within myself as a shadow healer how I'll take on, which example do I care to use? I've outsmarted myself many times, okay? I've been able to rationalize my own shadow behaviors with what I've learned about my process to fool myself into thinking I'm doing some righteous shit when it's really not. It's just that. It's just that, you know.
Wow, bro.
You know, and so now I'm like, okay, I know I'm doing my work when I can catch myself in that. I know I'm doing my work when I can realize, like, no, girl, you own your bullshit. It sound good. But that ain't righteous. You know. So, you know, go ahead and put that on the note, King, for the next podcast, because I could just go off on that and into that. But I just wanted to touch it. I wanted just to give just wanted to put that out there a little bit. Food for thought, plant the seed.
Honestly, you just in super. So me and Kai, if the tribe could hear the conversations we have.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a minute.
Man, like,
the channel is open.
Like this, yeah. Like
I ain't gonna lie.
Definitely.
I'm gonna say this real quick. This might sound weird to y'all, but I've been humble my whole life. You know, I've been low self-esteem, not what was, you know, what was low self-esteem. This not even like in the sense of, because I was very arrogant, but that was only a projection because I had low self-esteem. And so I got a download recently that is deep, you know, because I'm a very humble person. I move from my heart space. I really am. I love hard. That's really who I am. So I'm naturally like that. Like, I'm very loyal. My people, that's how I am. At the same time, when it comes to my superpower and where certain of my powers lie, I got a download in the revelation. I was actually on the phone with Kai, then it got confirmed even more later on. But my Goku is the name of my Goku. This might sound weird. Of me in that form is super ego. And so,
but let me tell you, because I did tell you that when we had that conversation, that's literally So Goku's counterbalance energy is Vegeta. Vegeta has an ultra ego. Literally, that's one of his.
Bro, I kept telling my wife, I said, I feel like it's ultra ego though. I kept saying ultra ego. Now you think, bro, no cap, bro.
Yeah, bro. And that's what she's talking about. And that's why I asked, do you look at that as a bad thing? Because sometimes for people like me and King, having that super ego is necessary sometimes. Like I like to tell people that you have an ego and you have a higher self, but your ego has a higher self and a lower self. And sometimes that higher self of the ego needs to be brought out in order for you to counterbalance the frequency that is operating in the ego energy. But like I said, it needs to be chin check. You know what I'm saying? Because again, we're being these lights. People around us look at it as like we're not supposed to feel bad too, or we're not supposed to be low vibrational. No, we swing on the pendulum just like you do. We just know how to stay in that middle.
And also,
you be over here sometimes.
If you don't tap into that energy, you be broke the rest of your life.
Exactly.
You would feel
in
like
all
that.
facets.
People in all facets. People think that because you're a healer, spiritual, you're for the people, the tribe, all this, that you're supposed to be somewhere around here just busted and broke. No, that is a aspect of you not accepting your royalty. That is a part of a shadow work on your ancestors.
Man,
there's something in your family, in what somebody has taught you that makes you feel less than. No, you powerful, family. Everything on this planet is yours.
The thing we gotta understand is that we all have the capability to do that. The thing where the disassociation comes in is when we think that we're better than somebody when we do it. No, that same person can do that same thing too. So when you do that, you're also creating a shadow reality for when you do create this level of abundance, which is all why I also feel like this is a necessary talk for everybody here in this panel, because we're all, if y'all here right now, just know something, because y'all here on this live, because we're doing this shadow work, because y'all are doing this shadow work, we're all finna catch an upgrade by source. Trust me and believe me. And it's gonna smack you in the face. It might hurt, but I trust me when I tell you, it's gonna be one of the best smacks you ever got smacked in your life, because you're gonna love that smack and you're gonna be smacked by it again. But you're gonna for real. So understand this level of passion for shadow work.
So keep this out real quick, bro. You said something cold. So understand, when you judge that person and we separate from that, disassociate, we do these certain type of things, you're really disassociated. So you have this ego, this I'm the light, I'm this, I'm whatever it is. I don't move like that, whatever. And you're judging these people. When you go into that judgment aspect and that disassociation, you now disassociate from the exact light you think you are.
Exactly.
On point.
Exactly.
On point. In fact, I use judgment as an indicator when I'm working with people that are just learning shadow work and how to identify these so-called shadows. Look at where your judgment comes up, right? And going back to the definition of judgment, don't forget how you feel about when I say the word judgment. I don't be judging people. Don't worry about that. If you're simply forming an opinion, if you're making something right or wrong, okay, if you can sit back and look at what somebody's doing and feel a way about it, it's judgment. Just the moment you take the seat as the judge, you're the one on trial, okay? How about that?
Exactly.
The moment you decide to take the seat as the judge and look at what somebody's doing and say, this is wrong, this is right, this is good or bad, stop all that. Let's take it inside. Let's go ahead and be our self-centered selves. And let's look at what about me even felt the need to make an opinion about this thing. And then follow-up question, what has helped me form this opinion?
Exactly.
Get to know it at the root.
Like, that's on all facets. Like, interpenetrating the root. Like, don't even go to the root. Go past. Go to the nigga the crust. Like, go to the inner earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, just how deep that we have to get within our shadow work. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's those levels of vast. Chill out. You know, it's that bad. Calm down. But these levels of vastness that we have internally, especially being as though we have this dark matter energy, we gotta go deep. Gotta go deep, because that's the only way we can understand our triggers. Everything has levels to it. Everything has facets to it. Everything has a multitude of dimensions to it, especially dealing with this 7 chakra system, dealing with the 144 different dimensions that tie to each petal within the chakra system. Don't you think when you're embodying a certain characteristic like jealousy, if it ties to the sacral chakra, the creation energy where jealousy lies, and it's on one of those petals, that goes deeper than what you may perceive it on as the surface level. So we have to put on our scuba gear, man. Like, for real. Like,
I don't know why y'all wait to the last few minutes to bring up all this good.
No, hold on. I'm gonna stop you. I haven't cut you off tonight, not one time, but I'm sorry. You did this. When you opened that channel, you said, hold on, I got something to say, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all at that moment, we couldn't hold back no more. You know?
right.
I told you I was trying to have the floodgates on, but that channel been wide open. I just had to go a little bit out.
Yeah, you opened the amazing portal, you know, like a whole new episode portal. Like that. But like I said, that's where we at, family. I feel like everything that's being said has to be said tonight, right now. You know?
Tonight.
Right.
You heard it, right?
Right now.
For real.
Things. I'm gonna go ahead. I've been off the dome. I see y'all taking y'all notes, being the great host that you are. I'm definitely gonna jot down what else is streaming through right now, because it's live and it's popping. I might have to get y'all to come on to my live with me tomorrow on Instagram if y'all open. I know we just kind of in the I don't know, King. I don't know how spontaneous you open with. You're so organized.
So I'm actually very spontaneous in alignment. So I say no to 9,000 things, but say yes to 2 divine things.
You spirit led. I hear you.
Yep. So, but this feels like we're gonna talk. I feel like that's a vibe though. I'm definitely. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, right. For sure.
I got a lot more for you.
I look at it like this: just because you're the shadow healer, we gotta take this to all platforms. Right now, we on YouTube and Facebook. So then tomorrow we hit them on Instagram. You see what I'm saying? So
let's do it.
I see.
So y'all heard that, family? You know what I'm saying? Actually, what we're about to do right now, we're about to tap in, and we can go back. You know what I'm saying? But I want to make sure that we tap in while everybody's here on the goddess, on her platform, on what she does, on following her, and then obviously we're going live tomorrow on her platform. So I mean, y'all know where to go. You know where to go follow her. So, if you can say where you know, like all your social media handles and whatnot, and then also segue into your business, and then I'm going to play the video, and that way you can actually break down what you do, and then we probably ground the conversation.
Beautiful. Okay, well, I am Divine Soul, and I'm not as active on all platforms as I would like to be currently, but you can find me very active on Instagram at I am Divine Soul. That is SOL like the sun, DIVINESOL for Instagram. And just to segue a little bit into my business and what I do as a shadow healer, I hold healing activations and international and now domestic healing retreats. And I understand that conversation is just the initiation, right? It's the spark that gets it going. But once we begin to increase the awareness, we need support. We need tools to really help us begin to deprogram what's so deeply rooted in the cellular, like it's cellular memory. For me, that tool has been the psilocybin. And my retreats are plant medicine retreats where I come and I introduce you, whether you've had the mushroom experience before or not. It's a very safe, controlled container with a very professional and certified team. And we guide you into the depths of who you are so that we can then support you through your integration and becoming the version of yourself that you're desiring to access. So that's on a larger level. I have my healing retreats, and I actually have a few on the calendar right now. If anyone is passport ready and ready to go, we're in Costa Rica, September 1st to the 5th and December 1st to the 5th. 5 days, 4 nights, all inclusive experience. And if you're not passport ready to go, it's okay, because the DHE now has a HTX experience. So I'm taking my purpose to Houston, Texas. We'll be doing a 3-day, 2-night healing experience there with the mushroom as well. Very few spots, because it matters more to me than the numbers and having access to people and taking your money for the healing, is making sure that you are getting what you came for, you know, and that I have enough of me to actually give you what you need, and not just try to collect a little dollar in the room. And, you know, because I say that because a lot of people will do that. You got a lot. I've been doing plant medicine for a while and going to these healing ceremonies for a while. And you have some people that will just take your money to have the coin and then hope you get what you came for. And it's not about that for me. So we cut our numbers very low, 5 to 8 people. And once we max out, we'll have to see you for another experience. And if you're feeling called to sit with the plant medicine in Houston, Texas this summer, we have 4 opportunities for you to join that. So y'all just check out my website or the link once you get to Instagram to see more about that. Outside of that, I do shadow work, okay, as far as helping you process who you are and learn more about yourself, identifying your shadows, your inner child healing, things like this. So we do virtual coaching as well as group containers. So tap in if you hear anything that feels like you might want to know more about. I would love to express that more, for sure. Share more of that medicine.
I'm grateful for my fault, King, for cutting you off, but I'm like, there's goddesses that do talk about shadow work a lot, but I'm grateful for you just for standing on it and being that light for the goddesses. You dig what I'm saying? So again, much gratitude for being an example.
Thank you, Kai, but I don't know if I consider myself a light for the goddesses.
A shadow light, whatever. Like,
now I feel you. I was just sitting with it. You know, I'm not gonna deny that. I'm just sitting with it, you know, because for a long time I was meeting so many healers that were so proud to call themselves light workers. I'm a light worker. But before there was ever a need for the light, we was in the new. We're in the dark, and that is all that ever was, right? Like the darkness. So I can be that for you, and I can allow you to come in and accept the darkness that is everything that you were before you ever found a light within you, and then you can go be the light for somebody else. How about that?
No, coming from me and King, that's what we mean by light, is shadow. For sure.
And I want to make sure that you understand your power. The light is, they're one and the same, but that is you actually have power to tap into both, because truthfully, the shadow is where the deep work happens, but the light is where the power is projected. So we actually go between both. And tonight, you was like in both realms.
Listen, and thank you for that. Thank you for that, because I do let my people know you can't see your reflection without a light in that mirror. Hello.
I say hello.
Facts.
Amen. Walls, lights.
No, facts.
So let's get into the video for the one time, you know, and real quick, because somebody said it in the comment. I think I don't know who. I don't want to mess up who it was, but somebody said rapid fire, Kai. They play too much, but I think I have one question, and I think it'll be a great question. So we have something on this show called Rapid Fire, and it's where we ask a question and you have like 1 minute and 51 seconds to answer the question. It's going to be candles on the screen. Once the candles burn out, the 3 candles burn out, then the time is up. But I think we're gonna close the episode with that. So once we, if you're okay with that.
If I'm okay with it, I'm very open.
All right, so we're gonna get into her video and tap in and really just y'all open y'all hearts and y'all minds to really see and receive her vision. Then we're gonna tap into rapid fire, and after rapid fire, it will be the outro. So you know we'll be tapping in with y'all next Sunday. So let's get it.
Thanks.
The Divine Healing Experience really just started out as me on my journey to go deeper into myself. The Divine Healing Experience wasn't a retreat. It was my life. It is my life, you know. And the more I've been living my life in all of my authenticity. I've been drawn into experiences that allow me to go deeper into myself and give me an opportunity to remember more parts of who I am and to be able to heal traumas that I didn't even know how to identify as a trauma. And on this divine healing journey I've been on, I realized that me living my truths out loud, me sharing my process with others, me finding the tools that I need to heal myself and leaning on teachers that could give me those tools and lend me some of their tools really inspired me to want to create a space for other people to do the same thing. I never thought that I would be holding healing experiences that were impacting people in a way that would change their lives forever.
I say. Now, big vibes, you know what I'm saying? You heard what she said, change forever, family. You know what I'm saying? We're doing work that affects us forever, you know what I'm saying? And we talking about in both projections, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you would call the so-called past and the so-called future, you know, forever. So, you know, infinite healing.
Infinite healing, eternal, internal.
Yeah. I say. So let's get it. A lot of y'all don't know, and she spoke on it, but she taps on inner child. Y'all know I'm big on the inner child. And so the final question of the show is going to be an inner child question. And so whenever I do, click the, so let me show you. So this is going to come on the screen. Okay. So whenever that comes on the screen, you have to unmute yourself to talk.
Okay.
So just remember that when I ask the question.
Gotcha.
And so I'm gonna ask the question, I'm gonna click that, unmute, and you know what I'm saying, drop the gems.
Got it.
All right, so my question is I'm trying to figure out, I've been figuring out how I'm gonna word it. How has disassociation affected your relationship with you and your inner child?
Taylor Monique has not been.
It actually didn't mute you, and then you muted yourself. So my bad. It didn't mute you like normal. So, so let's get it one more time. You want me to re-ask the question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. You remember how I said it. How has disassociation affected you and your relationship with your inner child?
So my disassociation has affected my relationship with my inner child by one, simply denying who I knew myself to be before ever starting a healing journey. My mother named me Taylor Monique. King, I don't even see my candles. How I know when I'm out of time? I guess I should just keep answering the question. I didn't see my candles. I just saw a rapid heart, a heart with fire on it.
Oh man, I don't know what happened with that. But yeah, let's keep dropping the gems. We good.
Okay, but I'll keep it brief for the sake of the rapid fire. And I'm thankful for that little buffer because the channel is open. And so what I know about being a child is that you're the closest to God you've ever been when you're fresh out the womb. You're the closest to God, which is why I believe children can't even speak yet. Not because God wasn't clever enough to give them that technology, but because they got too many codes and gems that we're not really ready to receive from these baby ancestors, you know? And with that being said, in our childhood, we have so much wisdom, so much clarity on our purpose that we instinctively are drawn to certain things, colors, clothes, hobbies, people. We know who we are in these childlike forms, but we can't speak on it. And then we gain our language, but we lose our minds in a sense. We don't even know who we are anymore as we grow from being childs into adults. When we disassociate ourselves from our childhood, we forget that we knew our purpose once before ever being programmed or conditioned by anyone else. So if you dance as a child, if you love to cook, sing, draw, but somebody told you can't draw, or your food don't taste good, or shut up all that singing, I'm tired of hearing you, you might have forgotten who you were and your purpose because of the program or the redirection, you know? But myself personally, I try my best to restore to who I was, to reassociate myself with my childhood, because I know my codes, my purpose are there in that likeness, in that being, which is exactly why I'm going home, to collect more of my energy, remember parts of myself once forgotten, and to reassociate with that inner child.
I say,
Shit.
kind of like he got something to say.
Nah, this is facts. This is facts. You know what I'm saying? Like literally. So mama, don't trip if you find some of the stuff that's mine that been there. Just missing. I'm reconnecting.
King, can you make a note of this for our live tomorrow? Because my pen too far away. I really want to touch on I want to provide a toolbox tomorrow, and I want to share the tools to repairing the relationship with the versions of our parents and other inner childhood characters that we no longer associate with. Hope that wasn't too wordy. A lot of times we just simply don't know how to get back to loving a person we've already deemed no longer acceptable in our experience, you know? I want to provide the tools to mend those relationships.
So truthfully, you know, Kai tell you, the trapper tell you, that's my super bag. You know what I'm saying? So let's get it. You know, I love that.
Let's do it.
I'm actually writing the inner child book right now. So let's go. You know, I feel like that is this is the thing about it. This is what I love about ancient healing wisdom, is that people try to own it. It's mine. It's this and that, whatever it is. That's old. No, man. You always got to spin the block with this information, constantly. And so, you know, I love that this is coming back, and we're coming back with the Shadow Healer. You know, to do this on Instagram. So, and truthfully, you know, it's important because. So I'm gonna go on this, y'all know right now. Next Sunday is Father's Day, and we talking about daddy issues. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's deep that you're talking about inner child, because you know, me and my wife was talking, and daddy issues look different from a male and a female, and it affects us totally different in different ways. And so, me and Kai, we can speak from a place, and obviously like this. When you talk about the divine feminine, I ain't gonna lie to you, divine feminine changed my life as far as the energy, the heart space, love, tapping into understanding the true meaning of chaos. You know, I was a toxic masculine being until I not, you know, show reverence to the goddess in the physical form, but literally just the reverence on a cosmic level of understanding that, you know, like you said, creation, and understanding the power of this love and chaos energy balanced into one. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm just grateful that you said that we're doing this tomorrow. And I'm gonna let y'all know, family, y'all don't want to miss it, because you're gonna have an opportunity to not just hear me and Kai speak from, you know, what we're gonna do this Sunday, which is more from our perspective, as and obviously we're gonna broaden it, but from our experience, she has experiences as a goddess growing up with father issue, whatever it is, you know. So tap in with us, family.
All
y'all.
the issues. You ain't got to be polite. She grew up with all the issues, okay?
Well, I didn't know, so I felt like, you know, I was like, nah, I ain't gonna, you know.
I understand.
But you can't be a shadow healer. Me as King Manifest, Kaz, Khalil, we out here. You gotta have went through hell. You ain't gonna lie.
Experience. You know? It's experience. It's character building. It's the activation.
It's in every single one of our names, even our government names. Man, listen, that's what I'm saying. You may not. I'm telling you for real. My government name.
Can I say something with you? You know, I have no familiarity with you. You know, King and I just met and built a quick little bond on Wednesday. Now I'm here. When I saw you in the promo video, King, other King, Kai, King Kai, I want to say to you, wow, I see you. I see you.
That's silly.
You
I
are
say.
such an ancient being. I don't know if you tapped into your Akashic records and if you know more about your past lives and where you came from and what you was ruling over and what you was doing before you got here in this incarnation, but I've seen you. I have seen you. You real big in the ethers. You real big up there.
I say. Much
And I just want to say
gratitude.
thank you for all your wisdom. May no one ever look at you and see your youth and mistake who you are and the wisdom that you have brought to this realm right here, right now.
You know what's funny? Much gratitude again, Goddess. But you know what's funny about that, man? Every time I go to the store, they everybody think I'm like 16, and they be pissing me off sometimes. Like, bro, all right, I know I look young, but like, you know how old I am, bro. So like, I just appreciate.
I have no idea how many years you have on this planet. Excuse me. I have no idea how many years you have on this planet. Pardon that interruption. But you big, you're ancient, and if anything, I'm very aware that the last version of you tapped into that youth fountain that we're still looking for here in this dimension, and you're just gonna keep sipping on that, so you're gonna be aging backwards. And everybody else gonna grow gray, but you're only gonna grow more wise. And I just see you. I see you. Thank you. That's all.
Much gratitude. Much gratitude, Goddess. I definitely received that, and I'm definitely gonna reflect on that some more, because the day that I had is that right there speaks volumes to tap more into the Akashic record. So again, much gratitude.
Shay, give thanks.
Shay. Big energy. You
hear
me? Yeah. Now we here, family. You know what I'm saying? Right, that's deep. Say King Tut energy. But that's we ain't even going. We're not gonna do it, Kai. We're not gonna do it. What I will say though is that she said King Kai, and you ain't gotta expose that right now, bro. But that's deep.
All right, listen. Me and my little cousin play too much, but like, I had a meditation where some things happened and I realized more about myself, and then I came out because I told him when I go into this meditation, you tap in with your gift and watch my meditation, because he has like the ability to do that. And he was seeing all these same things I was seeing in my meditation without telling him. I come out the meditation, I'm like, yeah, I'm King Kai now. What's up? Like, what's up? So you just said that again. It's just like, it's just funny. It's grounding the energy for me and really just helping myself to embody that.
And bro, I think it's confirming what we talked about. We talked about doing this project called King Kai.
Right.
And, I think you gotta spin the block on that and really make that happen.
The Oracle Priestess was on the call today. That's all we need to know, is that the Oracle has arrived.
I say. Literally. What was the Oracle doing in the Matrix? She was giving shadow codes and light codes to Neo and Trinity and them. Literally.
With that big mama energy.
Yeah, that's what it was.
All right, y'all. My dog, he getting mad at me.
All right, so let's get it. So y'all know the vibes, family. Much gratitude to y'all for y'all time, energy. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna tap in next Sunday per usual. We did miss the Ground and Sound this Sunday, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. We're gonna keep y'all posted, because I know we're gonna talk about it in the outro. We're gonna keep y'all posted 100%. That's gonna be this. If it's even gonna be this Saturday, because we got a download and a revelation that we be so excited to connect with y'all and to drop gems and just with our purpose that sometimes we misinterpret downloads for y'all that are for us. And in our life, we've been having a lot of things going on, and really we needed to ground the sound in our own reality. So letting y'all know we're not false promoting or not. We want to do that, but we also have to move in divine order. And so I just want to let that be known. If we don't, once we start, we won't stop. Y'all know how we rock out. But if we don't start this Saturday, it's still because we are grounding the sound in our own worlds to make sure that when we do tap in with y'all, that, you know, it's from the most holistic energy. You know what I'm saying? So
if you don't have integrity in your shadow healer, you're not doing the right work with the right healer. I'm so thankful to even hear you talk like that. I never doubted you, but I just want to acknowledge that. I appreciate that.
I say much gratitude. Much gratitude.
I say.
All right, let's get it.
Candlelight in the rising and I feel amazing. Preparation for earth.
And finally, bro, I'm ready to turn this ring light out.
Man, no. Facts, bro. Hey, we still going live Saturday, bro?
What you talking about, G?
Bro, we supposed to be grounding the sound every Saturday at 10:10.
Oh yeah, 10:10. You sure right, bro. We definitely got to do that. You know, how about this? We start this Saturday. You know, this coming up Saturday, and we just rock out like we've been doing.
I say, nah, we definitely could do that. You know what I'm saying? So every Saturday at 10:10 a.m., we are grounding the sound. Everything you've been going through stressfully throughout this week, today, this Saturday is where you're able to get some alleviation.
Also, if you have just started your healing journey or your shadow work journey, and you feel like, man, they moving the light work, and I still need to learn more about my shadow, understand we are always going to be doing shadow work. But in this process of light work, go back and tap in on those past episodes, because this is podcast, not podcast. Let's get it.
So anytime that you see us going live on Sunday for Shadow Work Sundays, the previous day, Saturday, is where we will be grounding the sound on Instagram Live. So it's easily accessible for each and every one of you. So make sure y'all tap in every Saturday on Instagram Live at I Am King Manifest 777, at Khalil on Instagram at 10:10 a.m. to ground the sound. I shake.
Peace.